Time now for business news. TikTok is one of the world's favorite apps, especially among young people, explaining why I don't use it. But there are concerns about the data the Chinese-owned social media site gathers. Solange Moujon is here from our business desk. Hello to you, Solange. A move to create a consumer protection ban on TikTok is making news in the United States.
It is indeed. The battle between TikTok and Western governments is not new, with the fear that the company could potentially put sensitive user data back into the hands of Beijing. Now, Montana wanted to prepare to unroll a first ever statewide ban on the app on January 1st. And any site offering it as a download would have risked a $10,000 fine per day of that offering. But a federal judge ruled that such a ban was unconstitutional and infringed on free speech. It was not, the judge ruled, a question of protecting consumers, as the state had argued. Now, for TikTok, this ruling is a significant victory as the company that owns it, ByteDance, continues to try and conquer foreign users and older users as well. Last year, the company bought 85 billion euros in ad revenue, but only 15 billion of that came from outside China. Now to another one of the day's top business stories, the markets. All three of the U.S. stock markets closed out the month of November with an at least 8% jump. We see them there. Those are monthly numbers, not daily ones. This ended a 3-month losing streak by Wall Street, and it was also their best month in more than a year. But as we're about to hear, such gains may not keep up at the same pace in the coming months.
We think we're in a bull market for stocks, given the fact that the economy continues to operate at a pretty heady pace. I mean, I don't expect that we're going to see fourth quarter data or probably anything for 2024 matching what we saw in the third quarter, which was just revised up to a 5.2% annualized pace. But I think it's realistic to believe that for the foreseeable future, the economy will continue to expand. And the real key to sustaining that is the job market, which remains quite healthy.
Now, such rallies in the United States continue today on the European markets. The DAX, the FTSE, and the CAC are all higher at the midday today. But the European Central Bank has warned that it is too soon to cry victory against inflation and that it could take more than a year to get the rate down to its 2% target. Now for some economic climate news. The World Bank has announced that it will devote 45% of its annual financing to climate projects in this next year. The pledge, 2024-2025. Now, the pledge of this 10% increase comes during the COP28. And the bank also said at the conference that climate spending globally is expected to increase from 9 billion to 40 billion every year. Now, here in France, the French Postal Service, La Poste, has sold its shares in the company Stuart, which focused on very quick bicycle deliveries. It has sold its stake to the German group Mutares. Now, the sale comes as La Poste continues in all sorts of ways to adapt to the ever-changing delivery industry. Eliza Erbert has more on an auction that's being held today by La Poste and how it's quickly becoming quite a new tradition.
A bargain or bust? That's the question on these shoppers' minds as they shake, rattle and rummage through unclaimed parcels.
We're trying to guess what is inside, based on the noise.
I'm aiming for a phone, but we'll see. In any case, I'm leaving out anything that's soft, shoes or clothes.
Once every year, La Poste holds a charity auction of lost packages, those that were sent to deceased recipients or which were never claimed.
Parcels that have been distributed after a certain time, after a certain amount of days, belong to the logistics professionals. And now, since the French law prevents wasting things, there are tons of them.
The sale comes ahead of what is predicted to be a record-breaking Christmas season. Almost 106 million packages are expected to be delivered, up 6% on last year and amounting to a quarter of their annual volume. While La Poste is one of Europe's leading express parcel operators, it has struggled to stay competitive against cheaper providers. Following the decline of paper mail, the French government had to step in to help with its deficit, allocating €500,000 in 2021 and subsequent aid since then. Largely thanks to diversifying and boosting its banking branch, the company is starting to turn things around. Now, with Christmas in its sights, the annual auction is a small way for it to give back.
And finally, for me, there's some juicy news coming from the fast food giant McDonald's. It's planning on making its burgers juicier. The Wall Street Journal reports that the chain has been working for the past 7 years on improving its signature hamburgers. After a test run in Australia, these 50 tweaks, which include a brioche bun, fresher patties, and more sauce, well, they'll be unveiled in the United States. Now, why is McDonald's doing this? Well, to stay competitive with higher-end chains that have taken a $2.4 billion chunk out of the United States' $72 billion burger market. Needless to say, the rollout is massive, with tens of thousands of McDonald's workers across the globe. No news yet, though, Will, about when these changes will come to the European McDonald's burgers.
I think they must. France is its most profitable location in Europe.
Allegedly, the burgers in Europe are better than they are in the U.S.
My producer in my ear is telling me McDonald's is dry.
Well, so. This is their goal to make them juicier.
So the Royal cheese in France might be a lot juicier soon. All right.
Let's hope so.
Solange Mijon with a look at business news. Time for a quick break, and then Live from Paris continues.